This is now in my lap, and just listen to the signal. Very, very low signal, but just listen to the beeping. This is the sound of being raped. Right now, my genital chips are being set off. There's just non-stop, very slow sort of vibration, electronic sort of feeling. And I will compare this to other signals. Notice that this is very low intensity. It's not the radiation doing it. It's the beeping. It's the signal being sent to the chips. It's coming, the signal's coming through that small gap there. There's a small gap. That's where the radiation is coming through. And maybe even the floor. But just listen to the signal. So it's not up here, it's there. And here it's in my lap. Here it's quiet. There it's picking up. Yeah? So right now I'm trying to work and I'm being raped. You had it stop briefly. So now it stopped. So every time the beeping starts, I can feel current. I can really feel current just running. So these are the signals. You can tell that now it's just beeping occasionally, but when it was really raping me, that's when it was non-stop. So there's a difference in the signals. And this is what it actually is. This is what it does. So I am literally, I've got chips in my genitals and they're being remote triggered, and these are the signals. So now they're triggering back and forth, but the continuous signal was literally remote controlled rape. So I'll stop it here because the signals go on and on. So you can see nothing here. And in my lap, that's what it is. Okay? Nothing here. There. Okay? So this is, I'm now resting it in my lap. And that's the antenna. Otherwise, I'll switch this off now. So I was trying, so now I'm sitting here. I spent the entire day reinforcing this bunker. This has got alu on the other side. It's alu all around. Metal, metal, metal. No Wi-Fi. None of the computers have Wi-Fi. Sorry, this is a table. And the front of the table is metal. Okay, so all around, there's absolutely nothing. You know, that's me sitting here with a helmet, which I need to wear, unfortunately, because these people are just... Okay, so this is what one looks like after literally several days of abuse. So you can see the injuries here. I'm trying to stay away from the outdoors as much as possible. I've got so much to do that it's easy to do, just sit in here. Because it's completely sealed in, every 20 minutes or so, I have to let in fresh air because there's only about, what, a couple of cubic meters of fresh air or air to breathe. But literally today I spent the entire day reinforcing this bunker because these shots into me were becoming so brutal, so relentless, and so absolutely violent, even sitting in the bunker, that I just had to reinforce it. So I spent ages today just doing that. I'm massively delayed and I've got so much to do. But anyway, even when you have completely sealed it in, and to have a radiation inside here of, what is it? So what you saw just a moment ago, so up here, when this thing settles, let's see it again, I have 0.2 microwatts per square meter. 0.2. This is pretty good. There's nothing in here, okay? 0.2, 0.3 microwatts per square meter. All right. This is very good. So even when you have this low radiation environment, and this is a lot of metal around me. I mean, really, I think, you know, I think it's enough alu to make a small car. But when you have that, what I'm trying to say to people is, if you have chips like I do, the chips, just like your mobile phone, respond to the actual mobile phone traffic. By the way, I've got real difficulties talking because I've been machine gunned into the head so much that I'm really struggling to speak. But anyway, apart from the brain damage, you have to understand that there's direct radiation, and when you have a mobile phone, you can even use it in an elevator, in your cellar, and that's because that's what I call diffuse radiation. Okay, it picks up the signal from whatever is being broadcast. It can be reflected off the you know, off the walls. This processing unit, whenever it hears a certain sequence, or, you know, picks up a certain signal it recognizes, it will pass it. Okay, it will act when it recognizes a certain signal. You don't have to irradiate it directly. You can radiate off into another direction. If it bounces back off a wall, then it works. Now, the situation I have here is from somewhere there's this signal that's being broadcast quite intensely, interfering with my chips. And I can seal myself in, but as soon as I've got the smallest gap, the signal is so intense that it actually is coming through. So it comes through a small aperture and then starts propagating again. So I'm sitting here and I still can be raped because it's only in the zero, totally blocked environment where there are no signals at all that these chips really don't do anything, you know? So imagine, this is how helpless you become when you've been illegally implanted. You can't escape from it. And of course, you can hear in my voice how I'm upset I am, because I haven't slept a single night in 2 years without being mutilated.
And I haven't spent, I mean, my colleagues and I were just talking. We haven't, not an hour, we haven't spent 5 minutes not being somehow accessed, mutilated, tortured with the various body chips that we have. And the scars that we have just show how insane these people are. All right. So if you have psychopaths, it's like if you let people like Hannibal Lecter, the film character, the serial killer, loose, and you make them head of police and head of intel, this is what you get. This is what you get. And that's what we have. So because this is what we have, you can gauge who the head of Swiss intel is. It's Hannibal Lecter. These people are totally psychopathic and totally degenerate and totally nuts on the head. They must be, because otherwise this wouldn't happen like that. So as it stands, I'm being gradually brain damaged. I'm trying so hard, people, to help you, but you've no idea how hard it is, you know? So if guys, if you could possibly help me, that would very much be appreciated. Meanwhile, I just wanted to collect, further evidence. If you guys have, you can pick up these signals with this device here, and then with the other device that I used to have, which is a small green square, which they stole when I traveled to Brussels. They stole it here from my flat. So it's called the Acousticom, and that has got an audio output as well. So you can hear these beeping sounds. And the guy who came here to do professional electromagnetic measurements said to me that to him it sounds like a pager signal. He kept calling it the pager signal. So I think in terms of technology, that's probably what it is. So he's measured in a lot of places around the world, and that's the sort of signal that he recognized. So it's a pager signal. It's accessing some small unit that can be contacted, and I think these are the body chips. So I think this beeping is the signal that's interfacing with the body chips. Now, what I wanted to demonstrate is usually when I'm just sitting here, my body chips are being accessed non-stop 24/7. But there's differences to what's done to me. And it just so happens, I've just turned it on because I just saw this measuring device. I was being raped. It happens once per day, sometimes more times per day, that I'm being raped by remote control. And I just happen to have this here. And I thought, let's just see if I can detect anything. And yes, indeed, I could. With rape, I'm not sure if it's just because they want to send continuous currents to your genitals, if they want to arouse you or somehow rape you or simulate sex. I have no idea. But basically, you have this continuous beeping signal. The dude, it just continues and it continues and continues. It's not the doot of just sending signals. Now, the reason why this is relevant is because my colleague, Dr. Millicent Black, she's got 2 ear chips. Okay, now with the ear chips, somebody who did a hearing measurement, or I think she had these static makers that she placed in her ear that she said helped. And then when she had these measurements, this person doing the measurement discovered that she has got what they call Morse code going to her ear. And I think that Morse code is just 1010 on off. So that's an analog signal. Now, I think this analog signal is this pager signal. I think this is what they were measuring. In other words, her chips in her ears were being accessed pretty much the same way as all the other chips. So, okay, because I don't have direct access to this technology. I'm trying to do a, deductive. I am just, I have to walk on water, but I'm trying to, think, okay, this looks a bit like that, so maybe we can conclude this and slowly shift forward. So based on this alone, okay, based on this, I would guess, I would estimate that the body chips everywhere, regardless where they are, if they are these kind of radio communicating chips, will have a signal very similar to those, to this beeping signal that you heard. In other words, if you have one of these measuring devices and you start hearing this, maybe let's start listening in to this beeping sound and let's learn how the different beats and beeps and whatever this thing is making are correlating to the things that we're feeling. Because I've got a bunch of body chips, and now that they stopped raping me, what they're trying to do is set off the chip in my hip. So my hip is being now, basically they're giving me joint ache, remote controlled, and I know that this has nothing to do with my hip because it goes on off like, you know, like a light switch. And it's usually part of a harassment campaign with several stages, and then, you know, the hip pain would be one stage, but then it would go on. But basically what I'm saying is that, you know, please start looking. If your body chips are being accessed by yourself, this is expensive, but I'm telling you, the Acousticom 2 on my website, Stop 007, FAQ, then you go to devices, and there's a device list, and the little green square called the Acousticom, the EM Fields Acousticom 2, that thing, with that you can hear this beeping very clearly. Okay, on this one, this is the HF35C high frequency analyzer. This one is much more expensive, but it has an audio setting. So what I did here to pick up this beeping signal in this totally shielded environment is you have to turn the volume to the absolute maximum, and I turned down the sensitivity to the lowest. So it has two settings. One of them is 200 microwatts per square meter, and the other one is 2000 microwatts per square meter. So this is it, people. This is another bit of evidence about the body chips. You just saw Rape Live. I am sorry, I'm talking about this really openly because I know that pretty much everybody is raped by remote control. So there's absolutely no point trying to be, you know, or being embarrassed about this. We just have to talk about it because this is what the secret services are doing now with people. And I'm telling you, they're doing this with people en masse. I still have to meet the victim who, you know, tells me that they've never been sexually violated when they become a victim of the intelligence agencies. You know, it's basically one of their staple things that they do because they're psychopathic degenerates and serial killers. So anyway, I hope this helps. I'm going to put out another update. You know, I'll try to give updates as I'm going along. I'm sorry, I'm really looking like a mess because I've got a pile of things to do, and also I need to have these wounds on my head heal. I can't just whack makeup on it all the time. So what you're seeing is a live war report. I'm telling you, this war is heating up. The intelligence agencies have become absolutely, totally insane. The level of insanity is now literally all out Nazi, running death camps, killing people on the streets pretty much. So if you could do anything, then I think now would be the time to do that, because next week we might not be around anymore. So anyway, this is it. Bye for now, and I hope this helps.